Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Saturday, January 11, 2025. We'll have 3:15 p.m. Eastern. Sometimes when this life gets heated up to a degree where you cannot handle your pain and no level of curiosity can be found, you can use a pain-melting mantra to shift the energy. The mantra redirects the mind into a space inside you where the mind has to let go and release all attachments to the pain. Now we're talking emotional pain or disappointment, many things. Now, such a mantra will remind you of the deeper spiritual truth of your nature. It will help you realize that who I am is undefinable, beyond all limiting thoughts and beliefs. Or the mantra could make you feel your infinite, eternal, spiritual nature feeling. Who I really am is untouched by fire, water, and any sensation. These pain-freeing thoughts immediately redirect the mind into your core, where we feel the most empowered and free. Mantras are, a lot of people create their own, but they're not something that you use once in a great while. They're something that you use on a daily basis, morning, noon, and night, because of the vibrational frequency that harmonizes within the body and how you direct your energy and the power that you are within the body. We do mantras all day long. We don't know it. That one of the most famous mantras on the other end, so to speak, is, I don't want. That's a mantra. I don't want, I don't want, I don't want. And so we get it. It's a lower vibrational frequency that is sent out. Now, unbeknownst to us, we're not, let's just put it this way, we're not aware that we're doing it. But many people use that mantra, that the words, I don't want. And then you can add whatever you want to it. Once we start to become aware of our vibrational frequencies that we send out, we don't ignore I don't want. We're aware of it. We know what it does. We've experienced it. But we don't use it anymore. We'll use a mantra, you use the mantra, I don't care to have that in my life. I don't care to have that in my life. I don't care to participate in that. Much different than I don't want. And the more we become aware, the more we are able to redirect our frequencies into the direction of what we do want. And that's where we start spending our energies. After so many million, after so many million mantras, or some of you have heard of malas. So you can give so many, you do so many. It's like the rosary. You've heard the rosary, the Catholic religion. And a mala. Mala came before the rosary. Mala has about 104 beads. It has the Nehru, which is the connector. And then you go through the beads and you say, you go through different mantras, so to speak. And after you get to 2-3 million of them, you become, and these are all labels, but you become a siddhi. Siddhi is one who has gone through millions of mantras no matter what. I remember one time when I had, this might sound strange to you, but I had an attack. I was in a townhouse, and an attack came. There are creatures, different kinds of creatures. And if you look at your toilet, you have a line, feeder line, water line, that usually goes up and to the plumbing, and you have a turn-off valve. So one morning I was going to go to the bathroom, and I put my feet down on the carpet, and it was like a little pond. So I immediately jumped up and I went, because I could get to my bathroom through my closet in this particular place. And so I went into the bathroom and there was water. It was like, a nice little pond in the bathroom. And the line that feeds the toilet, the water line, had been chewed enough so that throughout the night it was spraying up in the air and it was just absolutely flooding everything. So in eventuality, I immediately, and water was everywhere, so I went downstairs, and water was pouring through the light fixtures in the ceiling. Water was all over my laptop and electronics on, because I was working on my dining room table, and everywhere, in the walls, soaking down. And so then I went down to the basement, so I go down another flight of stairs. And same thing there, water was dripping everywhere. So everything was flooded. And my response was, I was kind of panicking because, electronics and everything. And all of my stuff in the basement, because I had an office down there, was ruined because it just flooded everywhere. I mean, it was amazing that little leak, little spray through the night flooded 3 floors in this townhouse. But even though that was all going on, and they brought in the dryers and they pulled the carpet up, and because of mold, and that would build, mold appears almost instantaneously when that happens. And so they had these dryers, these industrial dryers going, and so I still used my mala and did my chants through all of that. Now, most people wouldn't have done that, but I did, because it allowed me to leave the ego mind and be in the now and in deep gratitude. People say, you mean you're in deep gratitude because your whole place was flooded? Yeah, that sounds crazy. But it all worked out. And it didn't matter anyway, because later on the universe says it's time for you to leave. And it's kind of the property manager was a friend of mine, so it wasn't really an eviction. It was just you gotta move out. So I did. But all in all, when you focus on positive things, genuinely, not wishful, but genuinely, you turn things into your direction. You turn positive energies in your direction. Now, it may not be within minutes, but you do experience a shift. And then you discover the fact that you are so omnipotently powerful that you literally can direct your life to a certain extent, because if we directed it and knew everything that was going to happen, like I said before, we'd be like slugs in the mud. It would get really boring, because we like spice, in these bodies. I mean, we like to have, whether we acknowledge it or not, certain surprises. They don't have to be earth-shattering. But, things that'll happen out of the clear blue that we can't, we go, oh, where did that come from? How did that happen? But I'm sure that we would all agree that it kind of gives us some spice and spark in this life. And so we know that we can create anything that we desire or want, and we don't have to chase things. You ever notice that when you leave something alone that you have been focusing on, right? Could be anything. When you finally just say, you know what, I am not going to spend any more time on this. I'm just going to let it go. And when you let it go, it doesn't take long that you say all of a sudden, there it is. It's weird. Isn't that funny? You focus on something so much, and then you finally either you get frustrated or you just say, forget it. I'm just going to let it go. So you let it go, and that's when it comes in. Why does that happen? It happens because it's already ours. Remember, you're part of everything. Everything's part of you. So it's kind of like a nudge where you send your request to the universe. You're the universe is you. And it materializes. It manifests. You don't have to do anything else. It's when we start tinkering with things through the ego mind that we cause things to be interrupted. And then you look at something, you go, why does this keep showing up in front of me, and why I get irritated front and center? Why does that happen? Why is that happening? And you might find yourself asking yourself more than once, what's up with this? Basically I can take it or leave it type attitude. It's not earth-shattering. It doesn't materialize. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, great. But that's got to be not from the ego mind, see, because that is more superficial. But when it's from the heart mind, it's done. You don't revisit it. You just finally let it go. And a lot of us we're challenged by that because we're so in habit through the ego mind of not letting go of things. We have a tendency to hold on to things. Sometimes we have no comprehension on why we hold on to things. Sometimes we start to hold on to them even tighter than we were before. And we don't care to let go. It's almost like a night-night little blanket or something for us. It's a pacifier, believe it or not. And it gives us comfort. To hold on to something that we know is not it's not serving the greater good for us. Now, when you know that who you really are is untouched by fire, water, any sensation. Now, here's a few pain melting mantras that will activate the healing frequencies inside you and help get your creative, happy, inspired juices flowing again. And again, you don't care to say these superficially through the ego mind, because you'll find them, as soon as you do them, they'll show up again and again and again. So it's got to be through the heart mind. I trust the infinite wisdom of this universe. I know this universe will heal my body and mind. Every breath I take dissolves pain and fills me with peace. That's a really good one. Every breath I take dissolves pain and fills me with peace. And see, this is interesting, because the ego mind will do everything it can to interrupt your focus. Okay? Interrupt it, cause you to question, cause you to not trust, lots of things. I am a radiant being of pure lightness. It's just like one of the mantras that I put together amongst many of them is one is, you heard me recently say this, I am an omnipotently powerful, supreme, manifesting, abundant being that never dies. Healing energy flows easily and effortlessly through me. I release all resistance to healing. Yeah, people resist healing. Now, do we know that? No, we're not going to sit there and say, I'm going to resist healing. I don't care to heal. Right? So, I release all resistance to healing. And then we heal. I embrace the source of love within me. Not outside. Within you. That's where the love is. It's within you. And again, it's not romantic love. Romantic love is a very small piece of the great eternal love that is within each and every one of us. My body is strong, resilient, and designed to heal itself. None of that is untrue. It's not just said to be said. None of that is untrue. My body is strong, resilient, and designed to heal itself. And it is. You cut yourself, what happens? It heals. Body's like, look, we can do this. We can heal things. You can do a lot of things that you aren't doing now because you just don't know. And your trust, faith, and confidence in yourself in this universe isn't really high. Pain is temporary. My true nature is eternal peace and joy. Because that's what those parts make up part of you. Within. I surrender my burdens to this universe and feel lighter with every moment. You ever done that? Have you ever said, you're in conversation or do whatever, and it may come up that, what do you do when you have all this stuff on your plate? Well, I just give it to the universe. Now, some people look at you, and it doesn't matter. Who cares? They look at you and go, man, that's kind of odd. You just give it to the universe. But not so much anymore. More and more people are becoming more receptive to that, which is a good thing. I remember 30, 40 years ago, you would get, the roll eye thing. Oh, here comes a tree hugger. Which is a good thing. Tree huggers are good people. They realize that we are part of everything and everything's part of us. The deeper I relax, the more healing energy flows through me. When we're tight and tense, I've talked about stress, and we don't know we're stressed. We don't know we're stressed out. We just don't know it because we're so used to being stressed. So you just check. One of the best ways to check yourself if you're stressed, right, to any degree, usually, is your shoulders. We're so unaware of our bodies in many different ways, and your shoulders tense up. They bunch up. Not so much where you look kind of weird, but slightly. You'll feel it. And then it's like when I was in massage, and I was massaging, I would do about 9 full-body massages a day. Early wee hours in the morning, I would do full 1-hour massages, sometimes an hour and a half. And I learned about how the body lets go or doesn't let go. And the key points and areas of the body to release that. Because we talk about toxification, we talk about a lot of things. But a very powerful element is stress. Stress is brought on through the ego mind. And we don't know that. Most people don't know that. But you start to discover it. And see, only you can shift it. There isn't going to be anybody, that comes up to you and says, here, I'm going to help you shift that. When I did massage or Reiki and other practices to heal the body and have the body release, everybody was different. Everybody was different. Not greatly, but there was always a little bit difference with each and every client I had. I choose to focus on love, light, and the infinite potential within me. Healing doesn't mean the damage never existed. It means the damage no longer controls our lives. Akshay Dubey. See, we are learning as a civilization, a species, that all of our answers, all of our power is within us. It isn't outside, never has been. What's outside of us is what we have created to entertain ourselves. That's a fact. That's how powerful we truly are. We create things. We focus on something. We don't know that it is forming. Say, some of us have some insight about it where we know that if we focus on something, it's going to form. It's going to be created. There is no doubt about it. And this is why so many things are randomly created on this planet, because all of us, 8.5 billion of us, are what? We're all connected. We're all one. The gods that we are make up one. So it's not surprising. Imagine that. All the things that are being created on this planet, beneath it, around it, above it, are done by us. Even parts of this universe. It depends on what we focus on. And it's like I've said, we look at ourselves as small. You look at the night sky, you see the stars, you go, wow, the universe, right? And we're on the outer rim of one galaxy. There's absolutely billions of them in this universe, and then we go into trillions of them and the connecting universes. So, but we've been taught to believe that, well, you're small, so you're not powerful. But you can, like I said, you can take a teaspoon of some matter that is out in the universes. And that teaspoon, its density is 100 billion tons. Think about that. A teaspoon of this matter, the weight, is about 100 billion tons from a teaspoon. So you cannot ever see, we were all taught on this planet wrong. Physics is completely wrong on this planet. It holds no water. Only in our spiritual center can we access real freedom from all of life's pain. And when we become super-centered in the now, which we practice every day in these meditations, where you find a comfortable thought, you have no outside interference, you relax into your body, you're as still as you can be, and you focus on your breath rising and falling. That's the now. People say, what is the now? That's the now. When we become super-centered in the now, which is what a spiritually awakened human truly is, someone fully centered in the present moment, not lost in the mind's labyrinth of impressions. And the purest freedom we can discover is one that is void of all thoughts of right, wrong, good, bad. We find a spacious, open-minded place inside that is totally free from the mind. This freedom from the mind is the secret to empowering your entire life. Being totally free here, now, is what everyone is longing to experience, which simply begins with being present with your life as it is, not judging it or yourself in any way. Simply being with what is, accepting everything in life as it is. That's a toughie for a lot of people, because we're always bouncing into the future, always trying to force things. Now, this is an ancient spiritual technique. It helps to discover real freedom from the mind. The mind, the middle path, is the straight and narrow road leading to all other types of freedom. It's about balancing yourself out, creating real freedom, and being aware of who and what you are is beyond any mind swing of the pendulum. So over the next 48 hours, I invite you to watch your mind. Notice how it can swing between feeling capable to totally incapable about something in your life. In such a short span of time, it goes to polar opposite extremes. Perhaps it's about your relationship, financial freedom, or your physical body. Whatever it is, you can see the mind in the background, swinging the pendulum, doing its own thing, believing one day you can do it, and next week you give up and throw in the towel. To find a way to lighten this load that you carry in this life, let go of where, how, and when the pendulum of the mind swings. Trust that God wants you to fully enjoy this ride by not suffering anymore, by clinging with white knuckles onto one polar extreme. We've all suffered enough. And guess what? We are still alive. We are still here and able to find peace with what is. We can't heal what we don't acknowledge. And what we don't acknowledge is driving our business, Brené Brown, or our bus. The middle path, balancing the swing of the mind. You've heard me share where you see the edge of the coin. How many sides of a coin are there? 3. There's the heads, the tails, and the edge. The edge is the middle path. And you picture yourself walking that middle path, okay, and balancing as you walk that middle path. You've seen tightrope walkers, right? Some of them carry a balance pole. And the pole is quite long and flexible, but it allows them to balance themselves on that middle path, the edge. This is what we do. It's very intricate, and we're very careful because we don't care to fall off that edge. And of course, you've seen some acrobatic performances in circus and where, you know, they're not going to use a net and everybody gasps. No safety net. And there have like the Flying Wallenda brothers and throughout the past where some people were injured or died because they slipped off of the center. And that happens in our lives. And so you've mastered suffering. You got a PhD in it. Great. Now life's trying to redirect you into the opposite experience, which is attaining your highest Buddha nature or Christ consciousness nature. In other words, enlightenment. It's finding that being inside, who never suffers over anything and is just committed to inner peace while playing this game of life. So you discover that being inside, in other words, you're within you, the heart-mind, where you never suffer over anything, and you're committed to inner peace while playing this game of life. So you're watching things, yet you're not in things. You are enjoying life, okay, as you desire, but you're not getting caught up in the ego mind. So you're already aware that the ego mind, you know what the ego mind is. There is no stress about when, where, and how we wake up. Life is eternal. So always keep that in mind. If and when you don't get enlightened in this lifetime, you have 1,000+ more lifetimes to master it. The greatest mastery in this life is peacefulness, meaning, finding peace with what is, just being with what is in our lives. All the chaos and everything, welcoming it, being with it, but not being it. Most of us end up being it. We're pulled outside of ourselves, and that's where many of us remain. We spend most of our time searching, seeking, and finding what we believe and how we've been taught that will give us peace, happiness, joy, contentment. It does, mind you, it does for all of us on occasion. It isn't permanent. So it then makes us, motivates us to continually do it because we seek it permanently. And we end up not finding it permanently because all along it was within us. That's it, isn't that interesting? So in this life, we enjoy life. We watch. We don't judge. We don't judge ourselves. We don't judge others. But we watch. That's how we learn. You look at a YouTube channel, right? Somebody is doing something that you want to do for yourself, but you don't know how to do it. So you go and you watch someone real time doing it, showing you how to do it. And you learn how to do it. So we look at this life now as that we are this life. We're being it. And then we learn that, no, you don't need to be it. You enjoy it and everything, but you're not in all the chaos and everything. And you welcome all of that. Separating ourselves from suffering takes profound awareness. Separating ourselves from suffering. means finding this eternal watching eye, this conscious awareness that is free. This is our place of true freedom, all of us, where all other freedoms are temporary. But this state of freedom is infinite. We can always be free in this life, anytime, anywhere, just by knowing the truth of who we are. And see, that's the dilemma with all the distractions and all this other stuff. We end up hardly spending any time discovering who and what we are, and most of our time chasing and wanting and desiring. Whenever I feel that I am suffering about anything, I know that it's my mind clinging to some extreme. That it could be holding on to some idea about my pain which stops me from feeling it and eventually releasing it. And when I feel what's really there, I can give it all over to God. It can suddenly liberate from my body, instantly. And if an experience, a feeling, situation, or person is just too much for me to handle, I can always say, God, you take this heaviness. It's too much for me. I don't care to have it. It's your responsibility. Please guide me in life how to enjoy this ride. Pretty good one, isn't it? You feel those frequencies? The soul always knows what to do to heal itself. The challenge is to silence the mind. Caroline Miss. And to transfer, there's a lot of this going on this planet at this time and this now. To transform pain into power, right? You can practice this meditation for 15 to 20 minutes every morning. Sit in a relaxed position like we do, and be with what is. Everything. Be with what is. Whatever comes up, thoughts, anxieties, or stress, allow each thought and feeling to arise and look for the middle path between the parts. The pendulum of the mind will naturally continue to swing, but you do not have to play along. You can step back, sit down, and just be with what is. That's where you'll find peace. Practice peace daily, even for 10 to 20 minutes every morning. Just sitting, being with what is. Noticing whatever comes up in the mind. Watch the changing your thoughts, anxieties, or stress into choices that empower you. Playing with seeing just how powerful and creative you can be. Remember, everything in this life does have an opposite. It's a yin and yang. So your job, should you decide to accept it, is always to find the middle path, which is the path of peace. It's the path of least resistance away from extremes. This means taking the tiniest step back from the mind in your center and be with this mind-swinging pendulum, accepting its ideas of good, bad, right, wrong, or whatever it is. At the very center, this is where we will find an infinite river of peace. Let that feeling of inner peace take over you as you find the middle path, which is free from both sides. Find the middle path in all that you do, all day long. And this inner peaceful peace will soon begin to spill over into all parts of your life. I meditate to nurture my soul. Meditation gives you the opportunity to come to know your invisible self. It shatters the illusion of your separateness. That's what it's about. And it is, like I always say, it's a choice. Either we make the choice to go within and stay within as much as we can, or not. Either we make the choice to really embrace, to know that we are omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting, abundant beings that never die. That's the truth. If people really want to know the truth, that's the truth. And we've been given everything that we could ever imagine and beyond. We don't need anything. We have it all. Most of us haven't discovered that. And, it's going through all the walls that we've put up through lifetimes, all the little idiosyncrasies that we've embraced and brought in. But one by one, little by little, we end up unweaving it all and start to discover that we truly are omnipotently powerful, supreme manifesting abundant beings that never die. And we can have anything we choose, effortlessly, without struggle, without pain, without gripping and grimacing and clawing and moving and climbing. See, all that stuff exhausts us. And we already have it all. It's learning how to let go completely and being perfectly at peace for exactly what is in the very moment. A Jainan meditation. I'll return to close sound. Take an easy and slow breath. In through the nose. And an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. Focused on relaxing into the body and your breath rising and falling. There is a tremendous energy burning bright inside every one of us. It's here to ignite a massive bonfire that will burn away all the illusions and suffering that are burdening you. On one side of the planet, they call it the Holy Spirit. On the other side of it, they call it Kundalini. Whatever label you give it, doesn't matter. The healing power and electric awakening, brilliance that it creates in your life is the same. It's time to awaken from your long slumber. Today's the day to turn up the heat and let all your passion pour through you. Remember, every bonfire grows bigger and brighter the more we breathe on it and feed it the kindling of love. Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. And we'll return here, Sunday, January 12, 2025. It's 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest, deepest, purest of the purest, purest, eternal gratitude at all times. No matter what's going on out there or within, open your heart and allow the magic to flow in.